Hello everybody, this is Mithril Zenith. Welcome back to Mordor Depths of Dejenol Tips and Tricks. Today we're going to be looking at floor 6. Just double check that all my characters are correct. I don't know why. I still have a Tome of Agility. Doesn't matter. Anyway, yes. Floor 6. Floor 6, frankly, is where the dungeon begins throwing some very, very mean enemies your way. Floor 4 is a pretty big jump over floor 3. Oh, that is not the right spell. And floor 6 is a fair jump over floor 5. On yourself. There we go. Yes, floor 6 is quite a bit harder than floor 5. As I'm on my way there, I can tell you about a few reasons why that is. First off, it was a weird that my healer got diseased from the first chest. First off, you have several strong monster spawns. Elementals and oozes, and high-level thieves. Quite a bit of danger from those alone. Not to mention you have some rare spawns, including everyone's favorite ZBRATS. ZBRATS, I don't know how to pronounce it. It's ZBRATS. You'll know when you encounter them. Actually, you might not know when you encounter them because you'll be dead. Like giant leeches, they are a mob spawn. And we're here. Yeah, level 6 is extremely quick to access if you take the east stairs from 3 into 4, teleporter from 4 to 5, stairs from 5 to 6. And you're at level 6. Looking around, you're going to be able to see quite a few dangerous monsters. This lake right here is fairly good for grinding. It has common spawns of large groups of giant crocodiles and tiger sharks. So if you have a hit-all spell like a Summon Shade or Leprosy, bringing that out can get a fair bit of experience. Just make sure you can actually kill them fairly quickly because they do deal a fair bit of damage. Most enemies on this floor are quite tanky, even though thieves can take some damage. These beasts like Grey Pandrons, pretty bulky. Yeah, in general, that's generally the mix you're gonna see. I'm like 90% sure ZBRATS spawn on this floor, but it could have been floor 7. Because I'm pretty sure that this room I'm going to over here is like half the time a ZBRAT lair. Now, ZBRATS, like I said, they have very little hit points, but they spawn in groups of like 12 plus. Four groups of 12 plus. They have extremely high attack and hit very hard. So you're getting hit by like 60 or 70 by each group, and that's 4 times. Yeah, you die pretty quickly. Best way to kill them off is something like a Rod of Ultimate Power, which casts Word of Death. It casts at a very low spell level, but because ZBRATS have so few hit points anyway, that doesn't really matter. All you need is the sheer clearing power of 4 groups, and I think it's like 12 or 14 that Word of Death hits. You killed a lot. Yeah, just stepping in. Oh, they're also extremely fast, so it is highly unlikely that you will get the first strike. I was very lucky that just stepping in I didn't take too much damage. Oh, Orps. Say hello to Orps. They are thieving insects that are completely mind resistant, and I think they're magic... Well, completely mind immune. I think they're magic immune as well. Yeah. This level is a jerk because of all the pits. Well, first of all, there's secret doors like this, and there's pits behind doors, or pits blocking one long hallway, and rotator traps like this begin popping up from here on out. It's really, really annoying. This teleporter in front of me, right here, this will take your entire party to floor 8, and it'll take them to the rotator trap room of floor 8, which only escape outside of Ethereal Portal is a teleporter in the... Well, there's a teleporter in the middle that you have to Ethereal Portal to, and that will just split your party up randomly. Yeah, this is a very cruel, cruel teleporter if you're not prepared for floor 8. Meanwhile, for the Trancors, this teleporter will split your party up randomly across floor 6. Another very dangerous teleporter. This room complex, it's a mini maze of single room on its own. Several of them have pits. There's an anti-magic room and there's a stud square. Luckily no extinguished squares here, but I think extinguished squares start on this floor. They either start on this floor or the next floor. One of those two. Either way, it's kind of pointless. There's no like unique enemies that really show up here. It's good if you just want a lot of monsters really fast, but I don't really see too much of a point in going there specifically over anywhere else. Oh yeah, if you don't have a really high perception, you are going to get lost all the time, which makes mapping this dungeon quite a pain. If you're wondering why I have these rock squares mapped out, I used the shift, talked about in a different video, to map those out. Yeah, quite a few demons, devils. Now, winged demons, even though they have a devil sprite, are actually demons. Keep that in mind if you're trying to use an abolish or charm spell on them. This is the other entrance to floor 6, and it's fairly close to the Twisted Elf room on floor 5. So it's fairly convenient that way. There are two major monster layers, so there's a ZBRAT layer, but they can spawn anywhere. This floor 6 has two major monster layers, with monsters that will never spawn outside of their lair. The first is down this hall. You will see snake servants. Gosh dang it. Static... Wait, that wasn't even static mesh. I was using Rod of Lightning. That's why it sucked. You will see snake servants. And you will see Medusa. It doesn't seem too strong, but she is very, very strong. Has very powerful stoning, so if you do not have stone resistance, you will die as soon as you step in there. She drops Mordor glyphs as well as Medusa heads. I surprisingly didn't get either this time, but oh well, got plate armor instead. Medusa heads is an item that the shop does not stock, but it's an artifact that has a one-time use. Actually, I think I have one on one of my characters. Not this one. This one. Medusa head. Miscellaneous item. Requires no hands. Cast Flesh to Stone at spell level of 100. It's single use. Not really that valuable, but it's something. If you really are desperate for something to deal a powerful killing blow. Flesh of Stone is it. But if it doesn't do enough damage to kill, it does nothing. Because it's a kill spell. Not a damage spell. Which is why Morden Glyphs are generally better, because Morden Glyphs cast Drain Touch at a high spell level, which is a high damage single target spell. Now, this fog room is generally full of lycanthropes and oozes, so be careful with that. High weapon resistance. Actually, 6. What weapons stop working at 6? I think it's weapons you start finding at 2, stop at 5? So 3 works through 6, but doesn't work at 7? It's one of those two, I forget. So I think this is the time where you need to switch over to steel... where you need to switch out of steel daggers and into steel swords or adamantite daggers or the like. Or you will not be effective. That was either floor 5 or floor 6, I can't remember. Either way, these stud squares are going to be pretty dangerous. Oh, traps. I should mention traps. Blackout traps are quite common, or start becoming common. Slime traps, I believe, start appearing on 6. Oh, teleporter traps are freaking common as well. Best thing to do when you hit a teleporter trap is orient yourself north, find someone with a lodestone, or just cast Soul Search. Right, -2, forward 20. Yeah, there's no way. There's no way I'm walking to that. Oh wait, Smee doesn't know displacement because he can't be a wizard. Displacement, it was -2, 28. And if I'm correct... Yes. This weird pattern, it's actually just anti-magic for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe it's anti-magic with pits, but it doesn't say I'm hovering over a pit. Why does this anti-magic room look different? Yeah, because that's anti-magic over a pit. Is that a... It's not an extinguished square. Yeah, I still have all my things. I don't know why that anti-magic room looks different from the others. It just does. So yes, the Medusa is the first layered monster. Do you die, please? Hellhounds have a powerful fire breath weapon. It is annoying. To get to the second layered monster is a trek in and of itself. Here's a stairway down to 7, which will take you to... This may look confusing, but it actually takes you pretty central to floor 7. Floor 7 is when you really will start wanting ethereal portals if you haven't started using them already. There are certain places you physically cannot get to on 7 without portals, which at least every other room, every other floor up to this point, majority of the level has been able to be accessed without portals. Now, this teleporter will take you to down here, I think. Yeah, something like that. I don't really want to take it right now because I'm right next to the next layered monster. Well, right next to it. This is the Labyrinth of the Minotaur. You heard that right, the Labyrinth of the Minotaur. Just enter this way. You enter through the top of the map. Enter this winding path that slowly gets closer and closer to this square room, which holds the one and only Minotaur spawn in the dungeon. The Minotaur can hold items, especially weapons, and I think armors, that are found 1 or 2 floors deeper than it, so it can have like level 7 or 8 items, which are pretty nice. Problem being, Minotaur is extremely bulky, hits extremely hard, and is completely immune to magic. Completely immune to magic. And it's a mythical, so it attacks with that weird bee swarm noise. Now that didn't look too bad, but I mean, look at my healer. He was full health, and in those 3 rounds of combat, he took over 100 points of damage. And that's with a full party of everyone over level 100 and being extremely competent fighters. Like, even my healer has levels in warrior. And my thief has high levels in warrior. And then I have a ninja, and I guess my least competent is my gnome villain, what's it called? Villain mage. For some reason, don't ask me why. Don't ask me why I have a gnome in my party. I thought it'd be fun. But the villain's not that bad of a fighting class, all things considered. Oh yeah, this teleport actually takes you here. So it's a pretty quick escape from the Minotaur's lair. If you just want to go home, just step up north and do that. Other exits include this. I don't know why this area is completely cleared out. This takes you down to floor 7. It's not a very central location, so you're not really close to anything, but it's floor 7 nonetheless. Can't have disease wasting me away when I'm talking. And this teleporter... not that teleporter, that freaking sucks. Do I just have displacement? Not displacement. Soul search on Owen. Displacement 12, 16. Oh, you're in the crocodile room. How wonderful. Leprosy is a wonderful spell for clearing out these sea creatures because they generally have low disease resistance. Most creatures outside of demons and some animals and slimes, I think, don't have super high disease resistance, which is why leprosy is a good spell. Plus it hits 4 monsters in 3 groups for very high damage ratio. Such a good spell all around. Yeah, this teleporter is a group teleporter, but it takes you onto floor 7. But it only takes you right outside the staircase. Don't know why that's there. Other notable features, yeah, it's just a room chain up to here. Not every, but majority of the rotators on this floor are mainly placed to make it look like everything in every direction is parallel. So you will have no idea where you're going if you lose your sense of direction. And if you don't have a map. Which makes mapping this extremely tedious and frustrating. This is the only rotator that doesn't have that same view, but whatever. Pits, pits, pits. This map is the pits. It's awful. I'm personally not a huge fan of floor 6. Normally, I skip it, going straight to floor 7. Though I will, if I go through these stairs after hitting up the Twisted Elf, I will stop by the Medusa. Just because generally I have resist stoning cast on everyone. You want it cast over held item if you can, over equipped item if you can find it, if you can afford it, because that gives you an extra 5%, gives you 95% instead of 90, which comparatively is a 50% less chance of being stoned. And you do not want to be stoned, especially by a monster as strong as Medusa, who can and will stone you from very high health. Yeah, I generally stop by the Medusa because it's great money, even if I just get Morden glyphs instead of Medusa heads. Oh, Medusa heads are not stocked by the shop, so you can't like save them up that way and buy them later. But that also means that they never run out. They never reduce in value, so you can always sell them for about 2 million each, which is not bad money, all things considered. Die, die, die. Oh, yes, Medusa also casts Acid Spray for exceedingly high damage. So acid resistance is another thing you might want to consider when fighting her. Acid and stoning resistance, you need it. Like I said, like you saw that. That was 78 points of damage. Luckily it is a spell and not a spit. So resistances are entirely effective. But yeah, that's like 80 damage without resistances in a single spell cast. You have been warned. Yeah, this party can take on a majority of level 5 without getting hurt much at all. But you can see floor 6 is already taking a toll on them. They're still doing fine, but every room they enter is just hurting them more and more, wearing them down. Floor 6 is a very dangerous place. Floor 7, at least the places I normally visit, isn't too much more dangerous than floor 6. But floor 6 is much more dangerous than floor 5. That's interesting. I feel like from odd to even, the dungeon gets so much more difficult. And then the even to odd step is generally less severe. Oh, giant leeches. The insta-kill mob that can appear on floor 4. No longer a problem. Because we have ZBRATS! And nobody likes ZBRATS. Oh yes, did I mention Orps steal? And they're completely mined and I think magic resistant. Maybe not magic, maybe just mined. Either way, they're completely resistant to Summon Shade, which is a common spell because it's from a white sash. They steal much gold, and monsters begin stealing items as well, quite commonly. And slimes destroy your stuff, and slime traps destroy equipped items, held items, whatever item they please. It doesn't matter to them. They will just destroy it. That's pretty much floor 6. I don't believe I've forgotten anything. If you followed the guide up till now, calling it a guide is a bit generous, I feel. Anyway, if you followed my videos up until this point, you probably will have majority of resistances. You will be, yeah, level, pretty high level. You want a couple hundred hit points. Definitely, you will want like 200 attack defense if you can afford it. Maybe that's just a number to throw out there, but you'll want it pretty high. You definitely don't want it like low. You want it as high as around like 200-ish. I mean, 200 might be a bit high for that, but you get the point. At least like 150 with 300 to 400 hit points to make brief excursions. If you want to stay on floor 6 like I did, you're going to want either a full party or a really stacked character. But yeah, that's floor 6 for you. It is dangerous and terrifying. And not for the faint of heart. It provides pretty good riches, although at a more common rate, although the rings from the Twisted Elf are worth more individually. It is a very, very mean level. But hey, if you can survive it, it's great experience, it's great money. And it's a stepping stone to 7. 7 is... what's Ishtaria? I'm pretty sure it's cursed, yep. -9, -9. That is a fancy... I am finding so many magic hands, and a week ago I didn't have any magic hands in stock. What is this artifact? You don't say! Okay, so apparently the Minotaur drops skeleton keys. It's an artifact, so you have to equip it. Not class restricted, it's Nomad 38, and has multiple charges of Charm of Opening. How useful. Yeah, so if you want that skeleton key, I guess you gotta fight a Minotaur for it. Maybe you don't have to fight the Minotaur specifically. That is confinement, that is not the shop. But you will definitely want to be careful. This was dropped by the Medusa. It's adamantite plate. Oddly enough, chain armor is generally superior because defense is so much better than attack in this game. And it also doesn't drop your dexterity by quite as much. Black Cloak is not cursed. Troll's Girdle is. Mithril Ore is pointless. Sell it. What type of axe did I get here? A lead axe. It's pointless. Staff of Striking. Pretty good. Decent mage weapon. Until you get like a Cross of Commanding. Staff of Striking is going to be one of the better ones you can get. Mithril Dagger is better, but Staff of Striking is superior to an Adamantite Dagger. So keep that in mind. Yeah. That's pretty much all you need to know about Floor 6. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. As always, subscribe for more Mordor content. Thanks for watching so much. It means a lot to me. I hope that this video helped some of you. And, as always, this is Mythical Zenith signing out. See you next time, everybody, and Happy New Year!